All right, we're here on Athletes Connection today with my friend, my mentor, Selwyn Brown. How you doing today?
Doing well, man. Doing well.
Had a great conversation earlier in the week with your son, Devontae, a UCF signee, and we definitely talked a lot about his process. And I just wanted to get into it with you to hear your take. But you had your own career, you had your own success, and we'll talk a little bit about that today. I'm going to hit you with my hot takes first before we get started. You got 5 seconds to respond.
Okay.
All right, your favorite NCAA stadium to play in besides UM?
There's no other. There's no favorite. There's no favorite.
So
The Orange Bowl was the best.
Well,
There's
we
no
can't
favorite.
talk about the OB. So if you
All right.
the arena,
Let's say
another
probably
place to go.
University of Michigan.
University of Michigan. All right, your
Yeah.
most memorable game in college.
Probably Oklahoma game, championship game, '87 championship game.
All right. Most tackles you ever had in a college game?
Probably average, probably 9, 10 tackles.
Interceptions in one game.
One.
All right. Do you know your total career interceptions from the safety's position?
Not really, but probably 5, 6, 7, something like that.
Okay. Football has changed a lot. What's the difference between the 80s era and now?
Well, I think the difference between the 80s and now would be kids right now have an edge. The training that they receive now at such an early age, the agilities, the hands-on at such an early age is more advanced than what we had when we were in the 80s. So I think that's one of the biggest difference. You see kids right now as little as 6 years old, man, be out there grinding and working on their agility. And so if they continue to do that, they're ahead of the game when they get in the middle school and get to high school.
See, for you, I thought the first thing you would have said was the physicality. You know, back in the day, you guys played and you came from an era and a program that's known for just getting down and dirty. I've seen some of your youth teams, and you always preach defense, sound, fundamental. And I know that was developed at an early start for you. Where did you get that discipline from? Did it come from high school? Did it come from home? Did it come from the youth? What is your approach and how did you develop that?
Well, it really came from me playing when I was a little boy. And it was about a mindset. We used to have a field next to our house. And everybody used to come there to play sandlot football. And we used to play tackle football. And I used to kind of be aggressive. And everybody used to say, man, Selwyn, you can hit. You can hit. And I took that seriously. It was a mindset. And I took that one thought that, man, you're a good tackler. I took it in the Little League football. So when I started playing Little League football, I did the same thing. I used to earn all county, all honors, and be one of the top hitters. And then when I came to high school, and then when I came to college, so it kind of followed me all the way through. And so it was just a mindset that I developed when I was little, and just kept it all the way through to adult.
So you got 2 boys that play football. Have any of them kind of taken that knack from you and developed that game, that mentality of a striker between the 2?
Yes. Devontae and Damari are different, but I think both of them, I call Devontae the quiet storm. Devontae will knock your head off.
Okay.
And Devontae does have a physicality about him, but he's just a quiet demeanor, but when you put him on the field, he's going to compete. Damari the same way. Damari is just a little bit more rambunctious than Devontae, but Damari is going to bring that fire. You know, he's going to bring that fire too. But Devontae will, Devontae is not passive. He's not scared. He will knock your head off and he will make tackles. He's not scared to stick his head in there.
All right, so you just came through a period of sitting back and waiting. I know after your playing days, you went on from the U. I think you did get drafted. You had a chance to play a short stint in the league, and then you went into coaching. How did that transition go from you from being the player to now the director of men?
Well, I kind of fell into coaching. I tell you, I kind of fell into coaching, man, and it all evolves around you playing ball, and then you think that you're a pretty smart player, and then you have opportunity to coach, and that's how I got into teaching also. So it wasn't anything that planned. So I started coaching, man, and started loving what I was doing. Always believed in certain things that I learned as I was growing up, and even through college, that if I did have a chance to coach, it was about raising men to be student athletes, because I understood what my education did for me and the opportunity that it granted me. So even when I became a head coach at Boyd Anderson High School, it was all about raising student athletes and making sure that you take care of your academics first.
Okay. So right now, I know you currently sit as an administrator down at Miramar High School. How's your impact now that you're not coaching? How are you still involved or connected or helping young men on a daily basis, even the athletes?
Well, even today, man, our young black men, they just need a lot of guidance. A lot of them come from dysfunctional households, broken families, and a lot of them just need guidance. So I just try to be that role model, that father figure for them, a place where if they need to talk, if they need advice, that I always have an open door policy that they can always come in and sit down and talk, to guide them, to give them that advice that I give my own kids. What I tell kids at school and what I tell my boys are the same. I'm not a two-headed monster. I preach one message. Make good choices, make good decisions, and make sure that you're taking care of what you need to take care of. Your academics is first. Don't talk about you want to be a football player or you want to go to school, you have a 0.6 GPA. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
And so it's all about just, dotting your I's, crossing your T's, make them understand that you must have a foundation, a solid foundation, but it starts with your academics. So again, even in Little League, we talk about being student athletes and academics. High school, same thing, and even with my boys. So the message is the same.
So I know for you, like you really take this mentor thing seriously. I mean, there's even been a spell in my life where you had to just come on and help me just shape as a man. And at the end of the day, I know it's genuine because, like you said, it don't change. It don't change from your home. It don't change at work. Even in the life of my son, who's your godson, you continue to give him the same message. So it is genuine. Now, with that, how does all of that come out of somebody who participated in an era of the U that's been documented in TV series and everything else? I have to ask you, please tell me about the Penn State Bowl game. How did the fatigues, you guys walking out of dinner, please go through that. Let me know.
Well, the fatigues is somebody, I think before we got on the plane, somebody, before we boarded the bus to go to the airport, somebody said something about fatigues. So it wasn't it was just an idea, and we bought into it. So we all went, scurrying around to purchase fatigues or whatever. And we got off the plane with our fatigues. As a matter of fact, Jimmy Johnson, he wasn't on the plane, but he really didn't make a big issue of it. The media was the one that, blew it out of proportion. So my head coach didn't really make a big issue. And then, we were eating dinner that night together. And, Jerome Brown was my roommate. He
We've heard.
He was a free-spirited guy. And
Yeah.
so, he just said, something about, the Japanese eat with whatever. And we ended up walking out, man. And so, and then it got even more media coverage. You go to the Penn State, you're the top team, and then you end up losing. So, that hyped it up even more. But Coach Johnson didn't really care, but it just got blown out of proportion, especially since we lost that game.
Yeah. So then we go back to that. I got one more, the infamous Bosworth story.
Yeah.
Did you guys really get on the phone and figure out what room he was in the night before the game and give him a few phone calls to keep him up?
Yeah, they did. They said I did it, but it wasn't me. But they did it. They did it. It wasn't me, but they did it. Yeah, we had some We had some guys, some very free-spirited guys, man. They were bold, but they could back it up, though. They could back it up. They walk the walk and they talk the talk. So
I see you got the hardware and the jury to be able to carry those legacies, and I know that those conversations will come up with your boys. How did that play into this recruitment when you went through this process with Devontae? I know at first it started off hit or miss, kind of slow, then it just picked up rapid fire, and then all of a sudden, here goes your school knocking at the door. Please just walk us through that process for you as the parent. How did that go for you?
to me, it was no pressure. Been there, done that. Again, I work at a high school, so again, a lot of the coaches that come through the high school, you know, I either know or have met here or there. So to me, it really was no pressure. Even for Devontae, basically, I left him to handle that whole process. I'm just a parent. If you need help, if you have questions, you know, you can ask. But for basically, he took that for himself. I was just standing in the background, just to make sure. I said, hey, man, we got time. Don't let a school pressure you. You know, even when we took a visit to Pittsburgh, they wanted to answer, you know, hey, we got time, man. I got some other things other schools I want to look at. And so just patience and just keep doing what you're doing, keep focusing on your academics, keep working and keep playing hard. So those were the things that we focused on. Recruitment part was just, it's fun, and just to get out and to get them to a school and a university just to see that whole process. University of Pittsburgh was their first recruiting trip, and took both of the boys, and it was a great trip, and a great experience.
I did ask him about that. I asked him what was his sole reason for taking his little brother along, and it seemed like every time they went on a visit, it made his day because the school showed Damari so much love. They let him dress up. They let him take the pictures. They let him be a part of the experience. And as a father with a son that's about to go through the same thing, I can see me taking my middle son along as well, just because it made a difference in his demeanor. So what was your thought process for that, taking him along for this ride as well?
Again, for him just to see and experience the same thing, knowing that he's coming up right behind Devontae. Great experience. They treated him just like he was a recruit. He did everything except go out. If they were going out late, he did everything. He sat in the meetings. Whatever Devontae did, Damari did. And it was a great experience. We had a chance to do it 3 times. He had his own room. They had his name and all the stuff on the paraphernalia. So it was just a great experience. So he's ahead of the game when it comes to recruiting. So he's, like I say, he's done it. He's done it as a 9th grader. 3 trips, flying on a plane, eating in hotels, meeting the coaches, meeting in position coaches meeting, you know, doing all the things. So looking at defenses and, you know, answering questions. So that's a plus. That's a big time plus to do that as a 9th grader, and knowing that, you know, if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll be in the same position when you're a senior.
Oh, he definitely will be. He definitely will be. I don't have a doubt. This thing, as long as he stay healthy and keep his grades, he's not gonna have to worry. With all of that, came knocking late to the party.
Right.
Did it give you any kind of inkling to kind of say, hey, I kind of want you to follow, or did you just you stuck to your grounds and say, hey, it's totally up to you?
No, it was totally up to him. Didn't pressure him. Deep down inside, you know, as a father and as a former Hurricane, you know, you will want your son to follow. That's deep, deep, deep down inside. But, you know, it was his choice. It was his choice. And was a great visit. Was an awesome visit, man. Yeah.
That's what he
was a
told
great
me.
visit.
He told me they put a lot of pressure on him, and at the end of the day, he felt the connection. He felt the connection. I believe the defensive coordinator at the school he's going to is a former teammate of yours, and I think that for you, did that help settle you in a little bit more with UCF?
No, but it was about Devontae. It was about where Devontae wanted to go, where he felt comfortable, where he felt the best fit. So Dad was totally out of it. But it was about him making that decision. It's not about, did I want you to go to UCF or did I want you to go to University of Miami? Where do you think you can fit in? Where do you feel the most comfortable? Where do you think you have the rapport with the coaches and some of the teammates that you've met? Where do you feel the most comfortable? And when the bottom line, it was UCF. Because I didn't know listen, I think we had just came back from the University of Miami trip.
Okay.
And so I called him Monday. I said, man, give me a heads up. What you thinking? Because I didn't know. I didn't know. And he said, Dad, UCF. I said, cool. He told me then. I said, cool. And I said, you can let that out of the bag when you want to, but I'm cool with that. So I said, good choice. Congratulations.
Hey, man, at the end of the day, you've given me groundworks to follow in a few years. And at the end of the day, I hope I can stay as patient. I'm a diehard Florida State fan, but I would pressure him to go. You dragged me down to the Hall of Fame suite to sit and watch those games, and we had great times and arguments. And I got to see the brotherhood that you guys developed there, even over the generations of fans. And that's
Right.
one thing that I can say, even as a Florida State Seminole fan, I do have a respect for the program that you guys had there because I seen the brotherhood firsthand. And when you guys walk in, no matter if it's a recent grad or somebody that played before your time, you guys just come in. As long as you wore that orange and green, you just locked in. Tell me, how does that bond come from that university? What is the drawing power for all people that play there just to stay connected, no matter the coach or the era?
Well, it's just something that has been formed over the years. We basically started, I can remember in 1983, our freshman class, we walked down US 1 to see a movie. And we really didn't know each other, and we had a good time in the movie. And after the movie, we walked back down US 1 to the campus, and we were singing and dancing. And that's for the next 5 years, that's how it was. We did almost everything together. We bonded together. We worked hard. We took half the summer off, and we came back the other half of the summer to work and grind, and we did it together. And even at practice, we competed like no other. And then when you had the other kids that come in, they saw what we were doing, and they just replicated. And so it continued like that for years. And then they saw the brotherhood, when we started playing in those bowl games, and those guys had went on to the league, they would come back and support and give. So it's been like that for years, man. So that's basically how it all started and continued.
I was able to see the great coach that brought you in develop a program at my school. I'm a proud alum of Florida Atlantic, and Howard Snellenberger went there and built the program from the ground up. And I've seen it from the stage of recruiting and practicing the whole year to being one of the fastest programs to go Division I, being one of the fastest to make it to the semifinals of 1AA. And at the end of the day, I've seen the highs and lows and just the work. So I can imagine it magnified on a scale that it was down at And I've seen it even when he did it there firsthand. And I understand the dog days of the summer. I understand the area he looks to recruit, because a lot of the kids came from South Florida and Orlando down, which you came from the St. Pete area. So I get it. And he really believes in that philosophy. And that's one thing that always was a staple of his programs. And I think that's what made it so successful, because he kept kids from the state of Florida in the state.
Oh, yeah. Plenty of talent back then in the state of Florida. Plenty, man. Still is today.
It still is today.
Yeah, still is today. Yeah, but they're just not staying home. They're going everywhere now. Times have changed. Times have changed, and everybody wants to play for a winner. And so back then, was winning. Everybody wanted to be a Cane. So if they ever get back on the winning track, maybe we'll see a shift. Maybe we'll see a shift in recruitment. Hey, but listen, we still in the top 20 in recruiting class this year.
Yeah,
we had it pretty good.
That's apples and oranges. At the end of the day, we really don't want to hear all that. I mean, one of the proudest moments for me was probably one of the saddest moments for you guys is, those down years when y'all had 4 or 5 years in the 90s, but we were on top. How was it as a diehard fan to stomach during that time period? And then how great was it when the rise came when Butch Davis really rebuilt that program?
It was rough, man. It was rough. I can remember, man, I used to watch the games, man. I used to get so upset. My blood pressure would go up. No, seriously. I'm being serious. I wanted to break my TV. And so it got so bad at one point, man, I just stopped watching the games because I couldn't take it. So, and then, I told myself, man, you want to let this go. So I kind of like, release my emotions up. But if you're a diehard fan and you played and you helped build that program, and to see them performing the way they perform, and sometimes it was just a lack of effort, wasn't coaching, or it could be coaching. It was hard to stomach. So, but I had to let it go, man, and take a different point of view, because boy, I broke my TV, sick, blood pressure out of whack, everything.
Oh man, for me, it was nothing more joyous than the afternoons we would go down on that annual Florida State game visit, and we were on top when we had Jimbo and you guys. You were upset, but at the end of the day, I enjoyed the moments. I enjoyed the wings afterwards. I know that's your favorite. When I do come back down, we're going to have a wing appointment and meeting. But if there's anything you could do the second time around, now when Mari becomes the kid that's on the recruiting circuit, what changes would you make geared towards his approach, or what adjustments would you make for him, knowing that you've been through it once and now you feel you can improve, because you always can improve somewhere?
It wouldn't be no changes made with Mari. Let's say Mari's ahead of the game. He's ahead of the game. Again, I would take the same approach. If it's not broke, why change it?
Okay.
Mari would take the same approach once he continues to play and work hard and do the things that he needs to do. He understands what needs to be done. That's on the field and in the classroom. So, he's following, he's doing well in both areas. Like I say, if he can just stay healthy and continue to improve as a student athlete, he'll be just fine. Wouldn't change anything. It's going to be about where he wants to go when his time comes, and Dad will be there to support him and guide him if you have any questions. So wouldn't change a thing. Again, it was a smooth process with Devontae. We weren't like some parents, pulling our hair out or going crazy, feel pressure or anything like that. It was a smooth process.
I believe for them it was the easy part. I think mom was a college athlete as well, correct?
No, sir.
No,
sir.
right?
Mom didn't do nothing, man. Mom was just a student.
Hey, mom looked like she ran some track.
No, mom didn't run. Mom was just a student, man.
Okay. I know that you both are in the education system. I know that is always a priority for you guys. Being that I've coached both kids coming up, I know you guys preach it. So that's one thing that I always can say, hey, your message is consistent. You said something a few minutes ago about lack of effort. And I know you preach that from a youth level. Your defense, again, they always swarmed around the field, 11 hats to the ball. You're always preaching, finishing the process. So those things don't change. I mean, your message don't change. And at the end of the day, I can sit here and say that as a coach, I've learned to be more patient from watching you. So, I mean, you keep doing what you're doing, Coach. If you got any lasting message for the viewers here that may need some kind of advice or have any kind of questions, please inform them now.
Yeah. You just talking about, being consistent, man. One of the things that I try to do with my boys, and I try to get them to understand what makes them do what they do. And so in the way that you learn from seeing and hearing. And so a lot of that stuff comes into your heart, and that's how you make choices and decisions about life. And so I just try to make them understand, how you process certain things that's going to affect your choices and decisions. And then when it comes down to certain things, it's not about changing the person. It's about changing their mindsets. because again, they can be thinking one way for whatever reason, and then this when dad comes in and say, you know, you have to change your mindset. And I always told them, you know, as human beings, we have a human tendency to shy away from things that are difficult. Yeah, but I told them, you got to change your mindset, because again, if you do something that other people don't want to do, then you gain something that they don't have.
Yes.
And so you put yourself again a step above them, because again, you may have a skill set or a talent that they don't have because they thought it was too hard, but you press through and you push through. So it's about changing the mindset when it comes to my kids, and make them understand, yes, there are some basics, foundational things that you need to do. But for the most part, when it comes to certain things, it's about changing the mindset.
Okay. I like it. Change the mindset. As parents, be patient. Allow your kids to go through the process. And from a playing standpoint, compete and play hard. I think those
That's
are
it.
5 points that you had today. I appreciate you coming on the show.
No problem, man.
We got a prediction for next year's game. It's a new era for the Seminoles.
You win.
Come on.
On top.
Come on, man.
I'm being serious.
Come on, man.
I would never, dude. We'll bet lunch.
Chicken?
We'll bet lunch.
All right.
Yeah.
You're going to be sending me some wings. All right, man. It's great talking with you today.
Same here, man. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Much success.
Oh no, Paco.